Do you feel like you're getting worse day by day? This means that you're probably in a slump. In this video, I'll help you get out of that slump as efficiently as possible. A slump is a period of time where you play worse than usual. This might be that your aim is off or you can't seem to make good decisions. Whatever it may be, you're performing worse than you normally do. First off, I want to say that there's no magic way to get good again, but there are things that you need to make sure you're doing when you're in a slump to make it a lot less bad for you to go through, and some things that might actually solve it for you. The first thing you can do to start playing good again is to switch up your playstyle. A common reason to people getting into slumps is that they might be ranking up very quickly and not having the game sense of others in that current rank. A lot of times, players will rank up a couple ranks and start playing with better people, but they keep playing the exact same way they've been playing since they were lower rank. While that might work for some, it's quite common to have a few bad habits built up from playing with low rank people, and now that you're actually meeting better players, you'll struggle and you think that you've gotten worse, but what you actually need to do is to readjust how you're playing and which habits you have, and then you'll see yourself perform much better. This is because in low ranks, players usually get away with stupid plays all the time, but in high ranks they don't. So if you're playing a game and you find yourself dying a lot more than you usually do, try thinking if you're doing a lot of risky plays and think to yourself, is this a good risky play or is it just a bad play? I'm all for being aggressive, as long as it's not doing it in a bad way, which is a problem for a lot of people. The easiest solution to finding what you're doing wrong is to record your own games and watch them over again. This can be quite a tedious process, but it's effective at finding those bad habits that you've built up so you can correct them. Stop with your bad habits that's causing you to die and lose so you can get back to playing good again. Something else a lot of people do wrong is changing their settings right away. I wanted to mention this because it's something that a lot of people do when they start playing bad, and it can really screw up your muscle memory, which you don't want. While changing some settings might work temporarily, which it usually doesn't even do, by the way, it's always better to tackle the problem itself and realize what's causing it. Another thing I'd advise you to do when you're in a slump is to stop playing so many games. A lot of players make the mistake of tilt queuing and going for another and another and another game when they're tilted. That is probably the worst thing you can do when you're tilted, as you don't have the confidence to win and you aren't feeling it. I instead recommend you to take an hour break or so between games if you're not in the best mood. You don't need to fully stop playing though. I usually practice something else, whether that's going into a custom game and learning a new lineup or play for your favorite agent, doing some aim training or watching a VOD. This is arguably even more effective than just playing comp if you want to improve. But it's especially good for winning more games, as you lose most of the games that you tilt queue into. At one point I actually did about 5 hours of aim training every day and only did like 2 hours of actual games, and I won most games that I played in that period. You obviously don't have to take it to the extreme like I did, but just doing small breaks between games and practicing something else is a really good way to go about it when you aren't feeling your best. The most important thing to keep in mind when you're in a slump is to never lose your confidence. I know from experience how easy it is to start doubting yourself, your ability to perform, and start talking down on yourself a lot when you aren't playing your best. You need to realize that everyone gets into a slump now and then. It's something extremely normal that every player encounters, so understanding that will make it a lot less painful to be in a slump. Keeping your confidence up also allows you to win more aim duels. It's not a myth that high confidence helps you perform, because it really does. And as I previously stated, you being in a slump isn't always that you've gotten worse. It can happen because of a lot of reasons, so don't just blame yourself. Watch this video next if you want to learn how to stay consistent after getting out of your slump.